Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tanatastic Talks. I am back, finally. I've just been trying to manage work and life a little bit better now that I'm working a few more hours a week and trying to make sure that by the weekend I'm not like so dead that I can't actually film or edit or anything like that. So I've just been trying to kind of calibrate what that looks like and envision what that looks like and make a plan. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about, does chronic illness or illness in general actually add anything to our lives? My opinion is that it does add a lot to our lives, whether we realize it or not. I think it puts a lot of things into perspective for us, meaning that it makes us realize that really our bodies are shells. Like, we are much more than just our bodies. Yes, we have bodies, but they're not everything that we encompass. Meaning that we have like a spirit or a soul, and that within us is, I think, what is able to shine through a little bit more in these times that we find things more difficult. And I feel like if we're able to give that more room in our lives, it really is to our benefit. On the flip side of what I said about us realizing that we're much more than just our bodies, having any type of illness helps us become more in tune with our bodies and understand our bodies more. No one can dispute what it is that we're experiencing because we know our bodies, we know how they react. We also know, like, okay, well, if I do this, and this, I know that I'm going to crash. So what do I have to do in order to not crash? What do I have to remove so that I can, not expend so much energy? I can do a video about pacing. I've done one similarly before, but I can do an updated one because that was done a while ago. So if you'd like a video like that, like this video, and I'll know, I think it really humbles us. If we had a large ego before things happened to us, before we got sick, etc., I think it changes that. I think it decreases that. And I think we become less like, hey, look at me. That is not to say that we are weak, because I think that those of us who have chronic illness and that we have to live with stuff every single day, I think we're some of the strongest people around because of all of the things that we have to consider for ourselves in a given day and have other people consider for us, etc. So don't think that you're weak, because that's a lie. Just because something has happened to your body, it doesn't mean that inside you're weak. You're not weak. If we look at relationships, I think having a chronic illness or anything like that allows us to see the people in our lives for who they are. Either they're going to be empathetic and attend to our needs and anticipate our needs and be there for us and all of that stuff. And we're also going to see people who are either selfish or who are just unable to empathize and don't have that ability really to try to live in our shoes for 5 seconds to know what it feels like to have our bodies not respond in the way that we feel like it should. I think it makes it easier for us to know those types of people and to also know the people who are going to stick by us and by their actions and behavior and etc. So that's the relational side. If we go back to like the body side, if our bodies are not able to respond to what we want it to do, basically, we are free to focus on other things in our lives. We are able to focus on what's inside. We're able to focus on just attending, I think, to our needs and understanding what self-care is for us individually. I think it helps us become more assertive. It helps in making sure that we understand our limits and are not afraid to also enforce them, and educate people and help people understand what they are also, right? It also boils down a lot of stuff with our own goals in life. Though we might not be able to do things that we used to, I think maybe some things that we wish we could have focused on if we were working like 45, 50 hours a week, and now we're not able to work as much as that or at all. I think it helps us focus on really like what gives us joy, what makes us happy, where do we find fulfillment, where do we find tranquility, where do we find peace and comfort, and all of those things. I think that we don't always get the chance to focus on if we're just going all the time in life. It can be complicated. So it helps us slow down and really take inventory. Also, with chronic illness, it helps us kind of learn at a faster pace sometimes, unfortunately, just because of what's happened to us, than maybe the average person, per se, who has not had really difficult things happen in their lives. We, I think, have the opportunity to kind of fast track through certain things if we so choose. We always have a decision to make with that, right? I think once we have been able to grieve, process, accept where we're at, then comes a moment where we say, okay, I have to move on, and this is how I'm going to try to move on. And then it becomes a thing about trial and error, with what you can take on, what you can't take on, etc. It just allows you to kind of play with things for yourself in a way that you couldn't do before, just because you're in a totally different state than you were before you got sick. So I'm a totally different person than what I was like before, simply because I just have grown in my understanding of myself. I've matured. I'm also like 2 years older now, so like that helps. But I've also chosen to grow, right? I've just chosen to really reflect during this period of my life because, Lord knows that I have had a lot of time alone in this house. So not being able to go out, not being able to interact. So I've had a lot of time alone to be able to think, to be able to ponder, to be able to be frustrated, to be able to cry, to be able to be happy, or to find some realization or some clarity, and to focus in on what I want to focus in on because I have no choice. And it's helped in that way too. Like, it's helped me, even though, my body does some weird stuff sometimes, like tremors and facial contortions and stuff like that, eye twitches, and problems walking at times. It's helped me become more comfortable with my body in a weird way too. So it's like a mixed bag of all kinds of stuff. But hey, we get to discover these things. Okay. Just to recap, it helps with relationships. It helps boil down who's there for you, who's not. We just have to welcome that into our lives. I think becoming more discerning is always a very good thing. And if having a chronic illness helps us with that, then I guess so be it. It helps us with our own bodies. Even though I know we have frustrations, I know that things don't always, we have a horrible day, it's a horrible day. Last week I had planned to film this video and I couldn't. I physically did not have the energy. I accepted it, I'm over it. But I get it. So, but I just then attended to myself. I attended to what I needed to do. I napped more. I ate candy. I had bagels. Yes, give me bagels. I love bagels. So if you like this video, then give it a like. If you have yet to subscribe to me, then subscribe. I'd love to have you as a part of the family here. I upload every Saturday. Leave suggestions for what videos you'd like me to make next. Any questions that you may have, feel free to put them in the comments below. And I hope you have a great weekend. All right, see you later.